So imagine you just bought a house in Mexico. You've got the physical keys right there in your pocket. You've moved all your furniture in, and you even signed a contract.
Right. The classic dream scenario.
Exactly. But under Mexican law, you don't actually own it. Welcome to our deep dive, everyone. Today, we're unpacking the hidden legal machinery of Mexican property ownership. We're using a practical guide on escrituration or property deeding and the 2018 Mexico City registry law to, figure out why physical possession means almost nothing compared to the digital reality.
Yeah, I mean, people constantly fall into this trap. They assume that the physical handover of keys and a signed piece of paper just, well, equals legal reality. But a private contract, what they locally call a papelito, it's completely legally invisible to the state.
Okay, let's unpack this. A private contract is basically like whispering a secret in a crowded room. Sure, you and the seller know about it. But the notary public and the government registry, they act like a massive megaphone.
They really do. They broadcast your ownership so loudly that legally no one can ever claim they didn't hear that you own it. And, to operate that megaphone, you absolutely need the notary public.
Right. And in Mexico, they are an entirely different breed of professional than in places like, say, the U.S. or Canada.
Oh, completely. They are effectively an arm of the state. They don't just, review paperwork passively. They actively interrogate the property's history to guarantee the government will actually recognize the transaction.
Wow, so they're digging deep.
Exactly. They hunt down hidden debts, verify legal capacity, and lock in the formal deed, which is the escritura.
But here's the catch: a notary's deed sitting in your desk drawer is just as invisible to the government as that private contract. For ownership to actually lock in, it has to be broadcast to the state.
Right, which brings us directly to the Public Registry of Property. Their golden rule is literally what isn't registered doesn't exist to the world.
That's a heavy rule.
It is, and moving this into the modern era is where the 2018 Mexico City registry law really changes the game. We are no longer dealing with those dusty, crumbling paper archives.
Thank goodness for that. So it's all digital now.
Yes, the law mandates the folio electronico. It's a fully digital, heavily encrypted file for each property authorized with electronic notary signatures. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, this digital shift enforces two incredibly strict database principles.
Right, the first one being tractus successivo.
Exactly, which demands a perfectly linked, uninterrupted chain of ownership. Person A sells to B, B sells to C. Any gap at all, and the system just rejects it.
Like a broken link in a chain.
Precisely. And the second principle is priority. In a digital database, the exact day, hour, minute, and even the second a document enters the system determines its legal preference. It is a literal digital race to the server.
Here's where it gets really interesting, though. I have to challenge this. You just said this digital system is ruleless about priority, exact timestamps, and perfect chains of ownership.
Right. It is very strict.
So how does a system that strict accidentally spawn duplicate electronic titles or altered data for just a single brick-and-mortar house?
Well, because the system still relies on human inputs and legacy data. You have older, paper-based titles being digitized, complex inheritances, or, even outright fraud where someone tries to subdivide a lot improperly.
Ah, I see.
So the 2018 law built in a specific defense mechanism called custody.
So when the chain breaks, they trigger a legal freeze.
You got it. The head of the registry places the property's file in custody the moment an anomaly is detected. It completely locks the property's legal status.
Meaning nobody can buy or sell it.
Nobody can buy, sell, or even attach a lien to it until the error is investigated and resolved. And to ensure the public can actually trust this digital vault, the law holds the registry staff strictly accountable.
Yeah, I saw the penalties for staff causing unjustified delays or intentionally altering data. They face termination and massive fines, up to like 360 times the unit of measure.
Which is huge. Those fines escalate with government economic indexes, meaning the financial hit is absolutely devastating. It's definitely not just a slap on the wrist.
Not at all. Which reinforces why understanding this machinery is so critical. The heavy lifting done by the notary and the rigorous checks by the registry aren't just bureaucratic hurdles. So what does this all mean for you, the listener?
Right, the big takeaway.
Yeah, it basically boils down to this. The time and costs of escrituration is an absolute investment in tranquility. It's the only way to shield your physical home from the rest of the world.
It does leave us with a thought to mull over, though.
Oh. What's that?
Well, if the law explicitly dictates that your property doesn't exist to the world unless it is registered in that digital folio electronico, what would happen to your very real physical home if an unprecedented cyber event permanently erased the registry's digital backups.
Wow. That is terrifying. It really makes you look at those physical keys in your hand a little differently. You might be holding them, but the real lock is entirely digital.